Hello, everybody. Welcome to Solder Sesh number 58. I am super excited to have Ben Hencke with me here of Electromage.com and PixelBlaze fame and LED wizardry extraordinaire, I would say. So, welcome to the show, Ben. I'm so excited to have you on.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yay!
How cool is this?
It is super cool. It is super cool. Oh, and also of Lux Lavalier fame. We can't forget that as well.
Yes, Lux. But you know, we have some LEDs, but we need more LEDs, don't we?
Yeah.
There's some more LEDs.
See, nobody's going to be listening to us. They're just going to be like fixated on the
Perfect.
LED background.
Perfect.
Awesome. So just a little bit of an overview of what's going on today is that I have a sign that I wanted to add LEDs to. So,
that is so cool.
I know. Sorry, my camera is backwards from, there we go. So, we just have a sign for shows and stuff like that. And we're going to LA Maker Faire pretty soon next week. And it was my intention to backlight, the mountain basically with LEDs. And now, so this was actually done on my friend's laser cutter, cut paste signs in San Jose. And they have a bigger bed than I do. It's like a 4-foot wide sign. And but now I have a laser cutter. And so I was thinking of putting LEDs on the back. Oh. And I'm thinking of like mounting maybe some some sort of diffusion back here so that it kind of, glows to the edges of the front a little bit. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I have no idea how it is going to turn out eventually. And so I had a whole bunch of scrap LED strips that I got from a friend of mine and wired a bunch of them together, just kind of outlined the sign in the mountain as best I could. So it's like coming in over there, everything's backwards, coming in over there, and it's kind of going up around the mountain and then around the entire outline of the mountain and the hexagon. And yeah. And, what better way to control these and do patterns than with a PixelBlaze? Yay! And awesome. I've had these PixelBlazes forever, for longer, like since before I actually got to know you. And it is well beyond the time that I do something with them.
This is exciting.
I know. I'm super excited to finally put them to use and stuff. And hopefully we can make the sign light up.
Yeah, and I think that'll work out really good. I've done stuff kind of similar, just with even just like white in the background, like spaced out a little bit, and then it'll kind of like self-diffuse off that or whatever. But there's, nice. Of course, awesome plastics that you can throw at the...
Well, there are, and where is the one? So I'm kind of interested to see about sparkle.
Yes.
Yeah. So, because I was thinking it might hit the glitter and do like a really cool, I don't know, something. Yeah. So this is what I want to try first. And see what it looks like. Cool. Sweet. Well, okay. So before we actually, how about we do this? I saved a little bit of soldering for the solder sesh so that people wouldn't yell at me that there was no soldering. YouTube commenters. And so I saved a little bit of soldering. I was just planning on using the PixelBlaze V3 standard. I do have a Pico as well, but I figured it's a big sign. I have plenty of space for it. So I figured I would just use this one. Yeah. And so, so it comes with a terminal block and a little strip of pins. Terminal block. I thought that was cool. I'm probably not going to use the terminal block though, because I don't want it to stick up out of the sign too much.
Right.
But I thought that was really nice that you could just, put it in there, and then you didn't actually have to solder your wires to it. You could like swap out strips or whatever. So, but instead, I'm just going to solder to these guys, and I'm just going to use a standard, one of these three pin standard sort of LED strip connector testy things. It kind of annoys me that the standard is providing power on pins for these. Does that bug you? It bugs me. I'm like, you shouldn't
those are
provide
good
power
for
on
a couple
pins.
amps.
What's that?
Those are good for a couple amps.
Yeah, but instead of receptacles. I'm like, I don't like providing power.
Yeah. I know. I see. Yeah. Actually, it depends. So some are the other way too. It totally depends.
So there's really actually no standard. It just happens.
Sometimes like the wires are backwards and red will be ground. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Well, it's already kind of messing with my brain because I'm like, okay, well, red we can put to 5 volts. That's easy and nice, but I want green to be ground, and green is data, and white is ground, and I'm like,
Yep.
I'm like, no. All right.
They're kind of all over the place. It depends on where you get them. Like I always double check, like usually on the strip itself, there's some sort of way to kind of identify the power, ground, and data, and then also direction. Usually like sometimes there's an arrow, or it'll say like din or doubt.
Yep.
Like
or just DI and DO.
Yeah.
D and do. D do. Yeah, I messed that up before. I was telling Ben before we came on. I was like, yeah, I kind of almost had a giant oopsie. I wired up my sign, and I wasn't really paying attention to where I soldered the receptacle, and I accidentally like soldered it to the data out instead of the data in. And then I was wondering why nothing was working when I just did a little test of the strip.
Everybody
I was like,
does that.
oh, right.
Everybody,
Yes, direction matters. Oh, cool. Okay, so I am going to solder this to the PixelBlaze, and while I'm doing that, tell us, Ben, you are a superhero of LED wizardry and colored lightning bolts shoot from your hands. What is your origin backstory? How did you get to be this person that you are today, where you basically get to play with cool LEDs all the time?
Oh,
so yeah. How did you and how did you first get into STEM too? Like, I want to know that story and the story of how you got to where you are today.
I was supposed to prepare for these questions, wasn't I?
No, you just tell me what happened. Tell me what went on in your life.
Yeah. So like, how did I get into STEM stuff?
Yeah.
At an early age. And I was super lucky that, that I had access to all kinds of cool stuff, so probably like the earliest things I can think of is like doing like those like weird like crystal grow kits that you could get.
Oh yeah.
And you like put like this like cardboard tree and paper or like in a dish, and there's some water liquid or something, and then it like grows fuzzy. And I was like, wow, that's cool. But that's all
we did like string, and we made rock candy.
Yeah.
And we ate it.
Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, I just love stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then ended up getting like science kits, and so I would like mess around with those and have access to those and electronics. And I got like I'm old enough that I had like access to the Radio Shack kits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I had like those like spring loaded like 201, you got like transistors like sitting there, like even some like 7400 series like integrated circuits, so like D flip flops or whatever, like all that kind of crazy stuff. And just really just loved all that stuff.
Nice. And like who would get those for you? Would it be your parents?
Yeah,
or
my
did
parents.
you? Okay.
So
Did they kind of did either of your parents do something with STEM and kind of like funnel you in that direction, or were you just like, yo, I need this thing?
Both of them were in the medical field.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think that helped out, but neither of them did anything with like computers or electronics or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, they definitely gave me access to all that stuff.
Nice.
Anything to shut me up. Like, oh, it just disappears and plays with this stuff for hours when we get him these kits. Let's get more of those.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah, so messed around with all that kind of stuff. You know, it was good times.
Nice.
I remember not knowing at all what I was doing, but it was fun, and I would experiment and I would try things and just didn't really have that like
I was going to
fundamental
say
background.
that kind of how I feel today a lot of the times when I start on a project. I'm like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing. I guess I better learn something, right?
That's the best way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, and always like been really curious about inventing things and wanted to like make new stuff that didn't exist. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Um,
Fully agree.
and then I got into computers at a pretty
Mm.
early age. Like, had access to that. Not as much access as I'd wanted, but had access to that and just got bit by that bug. Um, yeah, so I mean, mainly at home and just having access to really cool, fun stuff is how I kind of got into it. Um,
Nice.
gosh,
So then, like, what did you do? Any, I don't know, did you do any kind of activities in high school? Like when you were around high school age, what did you have an idea of what you wanted to do? And
what did
like,
I want to be when I grew up?
yeah. Did you have a plan? Did you take classes like that were more computer focused and techie focused on purpose, or
No,
yeah?
no, actually, it was terrible, and I lost access to most of that stuff later on.
Ah,
And then I said, "This is dumb." So I quit school and started going to college, which
yeah.
was cool.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I got out. I took a equivalency exam so I could
Mhm.
get like technically get
So
out of
that,
high school,
yeah,
and then took a couple of programming courses,
nice.
and that was awesome. Uh, just a little bit, but not a full workload or anything. It was a lot. It was pretty complicated stuff,
Yeah,
learning nitty gritty bits, but it was really cool. And then I ended up by the time I was 17, 18, got sucked into the whole job of like working and making money, and
yeah.
skipped the rest of the school stuff basically.
Interesting. So you went to college for a few years when you were sort of high school aged,
A few quarters.
a few quarters. Ah, quarter system. And then you were just like, well, I could actually go out in industry and make money doing cool things.
Yeah.
Or was it out in industry, or was it just other things making money?
Yeah, so I got sucked into some volunteer work where I ended up becoming basically like a system operator for a lab.
Mhm.
And so I would take care of all the machines for folks and got really good with sort of like, just working on computers, making sure that they're working right, and got access to all kinds of fun software and did fun
Nice.
stuff like that. And then ended up getting a job rebuilding and refurbishing computers for a little while. And so, just knowing the inside guts of things, it just OS is inside now, all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
And that was all right. And then I had always been into software, but never really done software professionally.
Hmm.
And then ended up jumping into that full time as a career,
Nice.
doing a transition, sort of through some web stuff, some like
Mhm.
light coding through web stuff, and then just bam, like hardcore, like I'm hacking like C kernels for like this crazy like operating system thing that's running on like multiple platforms, and it just exploded into that. It was so much
Wow.
fun, tons
That's
of learning.
cool. How did that, yeah, like, so did you have people who were mentoring you in your job, or was it just a lot of like self-taught learning, or
Both,
both? Yeah,
both, yes.
cool.
So mentoring, yes, but less so on the technical side. Although I did
Mhm.
have really great people that I was working with that knew all kinds of awesome stuff. But I was very, very curious, and at that point in time, had taught myself how to teach myself,
Yeah, yeah.
which is really the key thing. Like, I
Yeah.
don't need, and that was part of why I had ended up quitting college. Was there was a lot of other like life inconveniences about doing all that sort of thing,
Yeah.
and driving for like an hour and a half to get there
Oh,
was
yeah.
part of it. But it was like, wait a minute, like there's books. I'm in this class. You're just basically like teaching me the stuff that's in this book. I could read this book and bang my head against a brick wall until I figure it out. I'll just do that.
It sounds better than driving for 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Totally, totally. No, that's cool. And that's why I like asking people about their journeys, because like everybody is different and so many people do not have like what we've been, you know, I'm not sure I want to say taught, but I want to say like we've been told, right, is the normal way of doing things.
Yes.
And yes, and I don't think that there is actually a normal way of doing things. So you can approach, you can get into STEM through a lot of different avenues. And so I like hearing how everybody's got into it. Cool. I have to say hi to Charlene, who said, "Oh my God, so many beautiful lights in the comments." Speaking of somebody
Hi.
who creates so many beautiful lights on a regular basis, oh my gosh, those acrylic earrings that you made are just so pretty, Charlene. Recently,
Oh,
they're awesome.
I'll have to check those out.
Ooh, yeah. You definitely do. She used some like edge lighting, and like
Edge
some
lighting.
light scoring in them, and made the battery kind of a feature of the earring. So it's like a big, like, well, big comparatively, but it's a small coin cell battery, and it's like, a small silver thing that is like slid between pieces of acrylic and sandwiched there. And yeah, it's super cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool. All right. And so then you worked doing web stuff, software stuff, hacking C kernels for a
Yeah.
while. And how did PixelBlazes come about? And how did that
Much
transition
later.
happen? Much later.
Yeah. So that was right around the .com era.
Yeah.
And it was a really crazy awesome time. I grew a ton professionally and just skill wise and things like that. But having lacked a whole lot of career experience and that sort of thing, plus the education thing was kind of a disadvantage when the crash happened. And so I ended up kind of, falling on some hard times for a little while there, and turned to my hobby for things to do. And so I would just like screw around with electronics, and make all kinds of really super fun stuff. And I've got a couple on my website, but like, I just like really liked sort of like dead bug soldering a bunch of stuff. I got into something called beam robotics, which was the thing for a while. They still have like an old archive. Yeah. It's like about 20 years ago. There was like a big thing all about that where you'd have, I forget what it stands for, something like beauty and electronics and art and something. Anyway, so the idea was to like do electronics with motion that sort of emulated parts of nature.
Ooh.
So there was a lot of like solar powered like bugs that would like charge up and then like shoot off, things that would like blink.
Yeah.
All kinds of really fun stuff.
Oh, I like it. We should do stuff like that.
Yeah.
We should do more stuff like that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I got a couple of pictures on my site. Not many. I've given away some before I even took pictures or lost the photos to them or whatever. But like, it was good times. But anyway, like spent a lot more time on my hobby then, and got into programming on Pix, because this is pre Arduino days.
Yeah.
That was the closest thing to an accessible hobby microcontroller thing. It was like, get one of those things, like build a programmer that can like program it off of like a serial port or whatever. It was crazy times.
Yeah, no. Several of the people that I worked with at my first job got into PIC programming that same kind of way, just doing little interesting things. It was a bunch of model airplane nerds, so it usually had some sort of model airplane end use. But yeah, a bunch of those guys would play around with programming PICs. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and I ended up. This was when sort of RGB LEDs had been around for a couple of years, but they became more readily available to mere mortals,
Yeah.
and had like handy packages. Like you could find them in like the 5 millimeter, standard type LED package. So I wired one of those up to a PIC microcontroller and programmed in assembly this really cool single pixel persistence of vision spinner thing.
Nice.
So it had like tons and tons of different modes and like all kinds of different patterns and stuff in there, and it was all like hand coded in assembly, and it was amazing good fun. And that's kind of like what kicked off into the world of RGB LED stuff.
Nice. And so, so were these RGB LEDs, were these like early addressable ones, or
No,
were
this
they,
is
okay, they were just,
way before addressables.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, standard. You got your R, G, and B channels, and you're
Yep.
like PWMing or something in
Yeah.
order to get
And
the different
Pix
colors.
didn't have hardware PWM
But
peripherals. This is like
dang,
software bit banging, like
in
PWM
assembly.
in assembly. Yeah.
So I now have, I think, some better insight as to how you managed to do that Hackaday badge thing this year in so little time, in what seemed to me to be like
Oh,
an impossibly difficult situation. I'm like, okay, you've been doing assembly stuff since the early 2000s, and so that badge was just like right up your alley.
it was funny. Like that was all in C, but having some familiarity, I think. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I got some advantages there, but fortunately, I didn't have to code anything in assembly. I'm a little rusty. My last big assembly project, where I said, "Okay, this is it. I'm not going to do this anymore. This is insanity," was in 2016. I submitted an entry for the Hackaday 1 kilobyte challenge.
Hmm.
And this is nuts, but so it's 1 kilobyte, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I programmed an operating system for their PIC that was on a badge that I just decided to repurpose, that could drive an I2C OLED screen,
Okay.
had a font in it so you could draw text. The
Dang.
font counted.
Yeah. Yeah.
The driver bit talking to the I2C counts. So like I was like poring over the SSD 1306 data sheets, like looking for like, what's the default state? Oh, these libraries are dumb. They
Yeah.
set it all to default values anyway. Cut all that out. Like
Yeah.
just change what I need. And then wrote a text editor that would take a PS2 keyboard, and then you could like type, and it would like append characters, and you could go to another line and append characters or delete. Your caret was always at the end of the line, so you couldn't like insert in the middle, but you could go line by line, and then all kinds of good text editor stuff like that.
Oh my God.
And then I used all my knowledge of PIC assembly to write an assembler. So the text, you could then write a shorter mnemonic, so 3-letter mnemonics for the thing, and all the numbers were in hex. But you could write assembly code, and it would compile it, and then you could run it. So it was a little command line interface, so you could edit, compile, and run. And then you had like the memory chopped up into files, which were basically like 2 kilobyte chunks. And then, you put whatever you want in there. It'd be text or a binary, and so you could like run programs.
Dude.
And I've managed to like cram all of that into 1
Into
kilobyte.
1K.
And I was like, this is insane. And I spent like way too much time on it. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh man. So then you went to LEDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to LEDs. Yeah.
Back to LEDs.
Yeah. So I actually have some early
Oh
PixelBlaze.
yeah, let's show us. You want a
get
screen
to the
share?
right.
Oh.
I was gonna go starting from where we are now,
Yeah.
back in time.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
I
So
feel like I
this-
should have some cool effects queued up for this. Exactly.
So this is the Lux Lavalier. This has been a super fun collaboration between Jason Kuhn, Deborah Ansel, and myself. And there's a PixelBlaze Pico on the back of that. That's the brains controlling the LEDs. The really slick LED, power system and delivery through the necklace is Deborah Ansel's design. And then Jason is the evil genius behind the really cool Fibonacci spiral LED pattern. He designs everybody knows Jason, right?
Well, they should if they
Okay,
don't.
you should.
Yeah.
Anyway, lots of really cool LED stuff, and we collaborated on one that uses SK9822 LEDs, which is PixelBlaze's specialty. It does really cool HDR stuff on it, which is important if you're trying to have a necklace that's not blinding somebody. You want to drive it at a very low brightness, but still have all that color depth.
Yeah, it's so interesting. That was something that I really did not appreciate until I started doing like kind of like this low level stuff just with WS2812 LED rings. And I was trying to like mix and match and kind of get some precise colors. And it was quite difficult because you had such a narrow range of brightness to work with at the low end of the range where you can really distinguish color. Because like once, I don't know, it felt like once it got to really like a third of full brightness, it was just white it was too bright. It was just like blowing everything out.
Yeah.
So you have this like tiny little range to work with, but then one bit of difference makes a huge difference in color. And so it was frustrating that I couldn't smoothly transition between colors the way in which I wanted to. Yeah. So it wasn't until I like actually had that experience that I was like, oh, this is what everybody is talking about with like the color depth. And so that's cool.
Yeah, it's amazing how much of a difference it makes. And it's super important for animations. Like if you're doing a gradient fade to black with something that's not red, green, or blue, like it's important. So if I'm doing like a yellow or an orange or something, it's got mostly red and a little bit of green. When you get to that very, very tail end of it, the green's just gone. And you're left with the weird looking red tail on your orange comet or whatever you're trying to animate. And it's just, it's
disappointing.
Aesthetically distracting.
Yeah.
So anyway, made SK9822, which is a LED that can do an extra dynamic range of bit depth there. PixelBlaze on the back, and they both of them did really just amazing stuff, designing different kind of plastic cases for this to fit. And I don't have a photo of this, but you obviously, well, I've got one here. There's a plastic kind of like fits exactly over it, and then has like little spots to screw in. We played with a couple of different designs. There's a nice bezel that goes over everything, so it looks really nice and slick.
Yeah.
And so we sell this as basically LED jewelry that you can then reprogram and code and make all kinds of other cool patterns for if you like. And let's see. The other thing I did recently is the beautiful box. And so this was like, we need more kits, stuff that people can build that's like approachable.
Yeah.
But is cool, right? And how do you get started in this stuff? And so the beautiful box was born. Emily of Emily Online.
Emily Velasco,
She helped me with the docs on this stuff, and just it's so amazing.
Yeah.
So good. Really knockout docs. So like super, super easy to follow stuff of all skill levels to go through this stuff. I designed it to be no glue, so you don't have to use any glue. It's all held in place by the screws.
Nice.
And then
so is it the bezel that kind of provides the structural support for it then?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And there's another one on the back with some cutouts for some of the ports and stuff, but then you've got all the screws on both sides holding it together. And then that kind of holds in that inner plate that's got the LEDs on it.
Cool.
Yeah. And then spaced it out, so it's really super diffuse. And the reason I did that, there's only an 8x8 panel in there, but you get an almost infinite amount of resolution as you do these gradient fades across the panel. You can't tell there's only 8 LEDs in there.
Yeah.
It makes for some really just gorgeous diffuse animations.
Nice. And that's just a clear acrylic, clear frosted acrylic diffuser.
That is the special
or is it?
LED black acrylic.
Oh, it's the LED black. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
So that helps add a little bit of contrast. And it does eat up a lot of the light, but it's gorgeous stuff. But yeah, it's also frosted on one side, and it also has kind of like, I don't say milky, but it's got like something in there that is helping diffuse as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I like the little spirally button on the side too. I think that that's my favorite feature about
Awesome.
the beautiful box. Yeah. And it's also it's sort of similar on the back. I'm not going to be able to see this. I don't know if I can. Oh,
Yeah, like a
hey,
flex hinge.
we got a microscope and stuff here.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, we could show off the stuff even better. There. And here, I can,
Do you
I'm
want to
just
switch
gonna,
the...
do that for a second.
Cool.
So, yeah, I like that, that this is the button, and it's just, it is basically a solid 3D printed piece that just has like a little bit of a half score in it, essentially. So, and I just thought that that was super clever. And so it's going over a button that's on the circuit board. And so pushing it, it gives a, you definitely know that you've pressed the button. You just have just enough tactile feedback. And what it does, if I have it on, I don't know if this is going to really show up under the microscope.
Ooh,
But yeah, what it does, oh, the bezel. Yeah, we can kind of show that off too right now. The cool, both the cool like diffusion pattern that's in the acrylic, as well as like the nice little teeny tiny bezel arms. But so the button changes the mode and gives you like different animations, which I think is kind of neat. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, I should switch to demo stuff. People want to see cool LEDs.
Ooh, yeah. Let's do more cool LEDs.
Then we'll go see history.
Yes.
We don't want to bury the exciting stuff. All right. Nope. That wasn't what I wanted to click on. Okay. Let's see.
Okay.
So I have
that. Oh, should I make
LED panel?
Okay, there we go. Oh, nice.
And this is run by PixelBlaze.
And what type of LEDs are those?
These are SK9922s.
Okay.
And so this is the panel that I make and sell that's based on those.
Cool. That's the 8x8 matrix?
Yep. And this is just to give you an idea, this is running at like 2 or 3% brightness. Something really, really low.
Yep.
Let's see what it was. 1%. Sorry, my
1%.
My bad.
Yeah.
And you can see that it's fading almost to black, like imperceptibly. Like it's got just such a huge range, even at 1%. I mean, just for comparison, if you're working with like a 2012 or new Pixel or whatever, that's 0 to 255.
Yeah.
What's 1% of that? You get a value of 0, 1, and 2, maybe 2.5 if you round up 3, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You can't mix colors with that.
No, you can't. You basically just get dim red, dim green, or dim blue, or all of them together, dim white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a way to cheat. And let me edit code here. So I'm also presenting, I don't know if you want to split, if you could do show both or if it matters. You probably don't need to see the code, but
let's see.
Oh yeah, that works.
Yeah, I can't really make the screen share smaller, but
that's okay as long as people can see on the side.
Yeah.
So there's a function called HSV24, which switches to 24-bit, turns off the HDR, and that is what it would look like. That's the best it can do for a rainbow.
Yeah.
But then you add some like, I need to like plus. Let's slow that down a little bit. So you can see it's like, can't really fade to black. It's just on or off.
Yeah.
The blue kind of like the teal to blue to black kind of gives you a little bit, but there's just not enough resolution there.
Yeah.
Compared to that.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So that's why I love these LEDs, and everybody should
Yeah.
try them. If you haven't tried them, you will love them, especially if you have a PixelBlaze. If you don't have a PixelBlaze, you should get a
You
PixelBlaze.
should
Try
get
it.
one. Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So there's
Cool.
another cool trick. This is not released yet, but
Ooh.
I'm working on a way to go beyond one PixelBlaze into a network of PixelBlaze. So if I switch my camera, you should be able to see a desk with cool stuff going on.
Yes.
And you don't need to see the code. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So not the two boxes and not the cube thing and not the really cool orb, but everything else is running this pattern. So if I change it, you can't see the code, but I'm going to change it to like red. And you can see that they all change. So this gives you a way to code a whole bunch of PixelBlazes all at once. You can live code stuff. Like I'm over here like messing with the code, like changing things. We could speed it up and do all kinds of fun stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And the cool thing is these are all synchronized in time. So if you use like the time function, which is the core of most PixelBlaze animations, that's all synchronized in time. So these are all running the same code with the same animation time base.
Wow. All mapped differently because they're different layouts of pixels,
Yeah.
but all running essentially the same pattern.
Yeah. So if we run something like CubeFire here, you can see that they're all pretty much doing the same pattern, local to
Wow.
whatever their pixel map is. And you can see there's a coil of what they call cob LEDs. It's a super bright, high resolution stuff on the bottom middle left.
Yeah.
And then there's 60 per meter stuff just to the right of that. And then there's a Fibonacci 256 to the right of that. Above that
Okay. Yeah.
is wave cubed. To the right is an 8x8 under like this 3D printed crystal thing that I made.
Yeah. Okay.
Behind that is a 16 by 16. So four, a 2x2 of the 8x8 panels.
Got
Beautiful
it.
box.
Yeah.
And each of those has a pixel map. And I kind of just winged it on the cob LEDs. And I'll show you the trick I used, which is going to be super relevant for the sign you're making.
Yeah.
I have an image tool that just makes it super easy. You just click and add a bunch of coordinates. And so I pixel mapped that 60 per meter spool that's kind of in the middle there.
Wow. That is cool. I'm going to just do that for a minute so that people can see all of the different patterns and stuff that you're flipping through.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so this is PixelBlaze interface. I haven't really gone through like what is PixelBlaze and like here's all the things, but this is the main patterns interface where you can see your playlist or your list of all saved patterns. You can add them to your playlist, edit them, do all kinds of fun stuff. But I've just run through a couple here so you can kind of see some of these fun patterns.
Nice.
Yeah. Now I went ahead and we got some really good ones like Pearl and Fire. That's a fun one.
Ooh, that is super cool.
Nice looking fire.
Yeah.
I went ahead and I did a little bit of math to separate their coordinates a little bit. So with this new system, you can there's a number of different ways to do this. One is you can give them a pixel map that gives them a smaller subset in a larger sort of world, or you can use some code and sort of shift them around based on their node ID. And so that's what I did. So I've taken a couple of these patterns and I've modified them with sort of their coordinates, and now they're all kind of acting as one, playing out an animation in roughly like a larger coordinate space that they're all a small part of.
Whoa. Cool. So you could like theoretically, let's say, do like a rainbow fade from one through the middle all the way to the rest of them.
Yeah. So like.
Yeah. Whoa. That is, wow. That is mind blowing.
And this little one right here that it's moving around, this is on my desk, and I had it like not shrink.
That's amazing.
So it's running the entire pattern, like a preview of like what the rest of it would be or whatever.
Make that bigger for a second,
yeah.
So that we can all, look at the amazing awesomeness of that. That is
like,
so
here's
cool.
A kit like Cylon Sweep.
Yeah.
And I didn't get this exactly perfect. I just kind of like just winged it, but with a little bit more time, you could really dial this in and get it super good.
Dang.
Let's see what else we got in here.
Dang.
there's cube fire. So the blobs that kind of travel around in this kind of roughly go across everything. This one's really fun because you don't really see this is a pattern called coronal mass ejection, and it's kind of like a star throwing off all these really cool, you know, solar flares or whatever of color, but you don't necessarily see where that is, but you see the effect of all these like things getting tossed around everywhere. So I kind of like that.
Nice.
Got the Eye of Sauron, which is pretty cool. Like you got the iris like right there in the middle.
It looks great on the Fibonacci. Wow.
See if this comes out. Firework Nova. So this one like does like a exploding radius from the center. And then
yeah.
let's see what else we got in here. Some exorcery.
Wow, that is amazing.
And then I was like, okay, well, here's a often requested feature.
There's more.
Yeah. So I have a center add-on board that you can add on to a PixelBlaze standard.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of hack it onto a Pico, but it's not really designed for it. So usually with the standard, and it gives you a microphone, and it has a little processor on there that's doing, you know, a bunch of like analysis on it. So it runs it through a fast Fourier transform and like throws that into like some buckets and stuff, so you don't have to deal with like a whole bunch of whatevers. And it's got an accelerometer and a light sensor and a bunch of analog inputs and all that kind of fun stuff. But if I'm like making this really cool cluster of like a bunch of PixelBlazes all together, like it should share that data, right?
Right. Oh yeah. Right.
So it does.
Of course.
So let's see if the audio works. I've got some chill step on Stream Beats that should be totally fine with YouTube. If this thing is cooperating.
Don't get me flagged for copyright.
If you're listening, copyright algorithm, this is fair use. Oh, you know what? I gotta switch this other one. Here, let's just look at a simple spectrum analyzer.
Oh yeah. I feel like every DJ in the world needs a pile of PixelBlazes and this.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. We have some awesome appreciation of all of this LED wizardry in the comments. So Charlene says that the box is beautiful as heck. No beautiful as Hencke. Ha ha ha. Woohoo! And Pacific Pinball Museum shirt that I'm wearing. Love. Yeah.
Awesome.
Love pinball. Love pinball. Not very good at it, but love it. And Morgan says that's why they like the black diffusers, because they make brightness more manageable, for sure. And yeah, there's a ton of appreciation for the synchronous stuff. So H-Beck says it's incredible.
Awesome.
And I don't know. Electric says it's absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Oh no, thank you for making stuff like this.
Oh, this is
a reality.
This is just what I do for fun.
Cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, so the sync stuff is still in early times. It's not publicly released. It's in sort of like a beta. I've got it in a couple of people's hands.
Nice.
But if anybody out there, really wants to mess around with this stuff, it's got some, there's some things I want to work out with the UI before I put it out there for everybody, just to make it easier to set this stuff up and kind of make sure all the features are in place and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to play around with it, hit me up and I can get this to you.
Nice. Electric says, I can't wait to sync up wearables with my friends and make it all sound reactive.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is awesome.
I've got another one here. This is using the accelerometer that you can just kind of like draw a dot around. That's kind of fun. Nice interactive stuff.
Okay, so how is that happening? Are you
So the one that the leader is on my desk, and I'm holding
got
onto
it?
it. I'm moving it around.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I don't need this anymore. Yeah.
Cool. Wow. Well, that is super exciting.
Yeah, it's super fun stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where did I put that? I've also got. There it is.
Ooh.
So the
Let's go on there.
big beautiful box, that is a 4x4 of 8x8s. So that is 32 by 32 pixels, which is actually really low resolution when you see it doing these. Excuse me, these animations. Like, again, it just looks like it's totally like an infinite amount of resolution. And I've
Dang,
got,
and that's the largest box that we're seeing
yeah.
in your desk of toys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And that's
cool.
on a different group.
Yeah.
And I've got the Lux and the little box and that box all
Oh,
together.
okay, got it.
And so if
Got
I
it.
hold down the button on my Lux, it should turn the Wi-Fi on, and I should be able to connect in. And the way I have this set up is a button on any of these that are in the group can switch the pattern. It'll like advance the playlist.
Nice.
So I can press a button and click through here so we can see some stuff. This is another sound reactive one. This would be cool if we saw this one. Let's do that. I've got too many windows.
I also note that you have one of Deborah's orbs on the
Yes.
very left. Yes.
I love that. That was such a surprise and such the best surprise ever.
It is very cool.
All right, I have a reason. I will play some more music. We can kind of see some stuff.
Oh, nice.
So like mood rings, like that kind of material for a while, like there was like sheets of it that would like do these really cool, like kind of like metallic-y looking like color rainbows.
Yeah.
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 That's kind of what this one reminds me of.
Nice. Nice.
Okay. All right, that's the demo fun stuff that I've got.
Well, that was a pretty awesome demo. Wow. A lot of fun stuff. So, we got some questions here. Is the sync capability, will that just be a firmware upgrade or is it hardware as well?
The sync is a firmware, so all V3s will get access to that.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Nice.
I see a question about V2. Unfortunately, no. I technically discontinued V2 3-something years ago, and it's just become more of a time challenge, really, than any other reason to just go back and port all that stuff because the platforms are different enough that it's kind of unfeasible to keep maintaining that. All the pattern stuff, though, I've kept it pretty up to date. So it's by no means do you need to throw away your V2s. They do not need to be e-waste. They can definitely do really cool LED stuff. But I think with the sync stuff, it's going to be a V3 only feature.
Nice. Yeah, I can't imagine anybody throwing away a PixelBlaze. I mean, even if you didn't want it anymore, there are so many people who would totally like buy that secondhand off of you,
For sure.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, I'm going to, let's see, bring us all back. Can I get your head back too?
I am somewhere.
You're somewhere.
There I am.
Hey! Cool. Well, what do you think about trying to make this sign do something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit of an interesting challenge because the sign is large and there's not a ton of room on my desk, but I've tried to clear enough space away for it. Oh, I guess I could just wear this, huh? I could put it back on. Yeah.
So you might want to do the PixelBlaze setup-y bits first before you plug that to the LEDs, because it does default to APA 102s, and if you put in 2812s,
Okay.
they'll just like flicker some random stuff. It's not bad. It just might not be what you're looking for.
Yeah. I think if you get hair in the way of the clasp, it works less well.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we should just, yes, do I have a USB cable? Yes, I have USB somewhere around here. There we go. Is it even hooked into the computer? It might even be hooked into the computer. Yes. Okay. Excellent. And
It's totally fine if you have a power only
port is on.
cable too.
Oh, okay. Cool. Oh, that's right. Right, because it's Wi-Fi. Yes. All right. Well, we'll just do this since we got it right here. Hey, it's blinking.
Yeah.
All right. And I figured that I would just do this initial thing on a tablet so that I could put it in the camera's way and show it to people. Cool. So I'm assuming I look for its little network. Yeah?
Yeah. So this would be in setup mode. And so it's going to create an access point called like PixelBlaze and some hex digits.
Cool.
And you should be able to hit that, and it should do a capture portal. So it should just pop right up.
There's a lot of networks around here. Yes, PixelBlaze. There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome. I wonder if I can. I'm not sure if I can get that any clearer on the camera there, but there we go. Awesome. Uh-oh. That page not available.
No. You have
I have a solid light instead of a blinking light now. Does that
you're
have
fine. You have a very old version of firmware that had a bug at like that specific moment. This is terrible.
Of course. For the live demo.
Yes, there is a workaround.
Awesome. So I bought this PixelBlaze several years ago and haven't done anything with it.
Yeah. Oh my. Okay.
Sorry, didn't
That's
mean
right.
to
But
put
you
on the
know,
spot.
all PixelBlazes come with free support, so this is okay.
Perfect.
You just have to get support. Oh, here I am. Okay.
Hello, customer service. Yes, I would like to report a difficulty connecting my PixelBlaze to my Wi-Fi network.
No, that's wild. Yeah, so there was a very small window where this could happen, and I forget
Lucky.
there's like some specific circumstances that would like cause this to occur. And I wonder if that's, but there is a workaround.
Okay. I'm ready for the workaround.
I'm gonna go search for it. It's been forever.
No, that is okay. Ooh, there was a hardware happy hour mentioned in the comments. Is that the Portland one?
Yeah.
I'm guessing maybe. Yeah. Yes, I've heard good things about the Portland hardware happy hour. Some point in time, I might be up there and able to come to one. That would be fun.
Yeah, they're really nice, and it's been really great getting to see everybody and chat and stuff in person too. It's good stuff.
Nice. Are you? No, wait. I thought you were in Washington. Yeah. Or
Technically.
are you? Technically.
I mean, technically, I'm in Portland. Legally, I'm in Washington.
Got it. Yeah, I don't know Sun and Moon. I don't know much about it other than it's Portland, and I think Helen Lee like kind of spearheads it sometimes, at least, or at least I see her posts about it. So if you're following her, then yeah, then I think you can find out more about it and where it is.
You know, that looks like it might just be a connection issue. Try reloading the page.
Okay.
That is different.
Is it just me? It could just be me.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, it was just me.
Okay. It wasn't the firmware.
And we'll forget everything that we heard about a bug that shipped briefly. Whatever, we'll just cut that out.
I went straight into some weeds that didn't need to exist. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we all do that though, right? Especially when it's your own product, you're like, oh no, there's a problem with it. So yeah, no, I have done that as well. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So then you get to share your Wi-Fi password with everybody on stream.
Ooh, then I'll share Alpenglow guests Wi-Fi password.
Feel free to type that off screen. I was joking. You don't have to show us that.
The password for Alpenglow guest is electronics. Now you all know our Wi-Fi guest password.
I'm still your internet next time in the neighborhood.
There we go. You got to come visit us in Slow, though, to steal our internet.
Deal.
Oh, check that out. Sun and Moon is going to a hardware happy hour tonight in LA at Supply Frame. That sounds like fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he does have the super secret, well, not so secret, beta stuff. So, that you're going to bring the LED bikinis? Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's naturally it's a two-piece, and you want them to coordinate. So, perfect.
Cool. And so now I should log on to Alpenglow Guest with this tablet.
So you can go to anything that goes out the same IP address.
Oh.
And you can use any device. You could use your computer now if you wanted to.
Okay.
And then there was some text there, but basically, and usually I'll give people like little inserts with instructions, and if not, there's docs and stuff on the website with a guide that'll walk you through all this stuff. But so now you've configured it to connect to your wireless network. It's got internet access. It's going to go and register itself with the Discovery service since you had the checkbox checked.
Cool.
And you will be able to use the Discovery service to go find out what its local IP address is. And then, yes, you do want to be on the same Wi-Fi network. So if your guests hopefully you have your Wi-Fi set up so that your clients can talk to other clients. Some guest networks and some Wi-Fi security locks all that stuff down.
That is a good question. I think I can. I think that the guest network is like partitioned from ours, but I don't think that it's partitioned in any way within itself. Okay.
Yeah, and then now if you go to discover.electromage.com or go to electromage.com, there's a link somewhere.
Cool. Electromage.com. Yeah. Okay.
And then there's
PixelBlaze Discovery.
Yep.
Achoo. Here's what I found. Hey, look at that. Wow, that was so easy.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Cool.
Here, I thought we were gonna have to do some firmware workarounds and all that kind of stuff. Like I was ready to go.
Okay, cool. So now what do I do?
If you tap on that.
Okay. I was like, do I have to copy paste or what? Okay, cool.
And so this web page and the app and everything is coming straight from the PixelBlaze. So these can work entirely standalone outside of any internet or anything like that. Nice.
Cool. And so now I want to set it to the sad WS2812s, right?
Yeah. Which are totally fine. They're totally fine. There's nothing wrong with them.
True. Awesome. Oh, number of pixels. I haven't counted.
That's okay. We can deal with that later.
Deal with that later? All right, cool.
If you're short, then some of them just won't draw, or some of them will have like little trailing bits of white or something like that, but it's not a big deal.
I don't think that I have 100. I can actually count pretty easily because I know how many are per strip. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strips of 6, so that's 36. And then I have 2 strips of 8, so that's 16. So 36 plus 16 is like 52. 52. All right. Cool.
So you should be good to plug them in now, I think. And
oh, wait, should I check for updates? There's a thing right here.
If you like to, what is your version? I'm curious.
Check for updates. Oh, I accidentally pressed it. We're checking. Update is available. Current version 3.18.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's not too bad. Okay.
Yeah, but if you do an update, we can show people what it looks like, and you have access to all the really cool stuff.
Okay, we're doing the update because this is also part of like what people, you know, it's part of the setup and it's part of, you know, what people might have trouble with or be wondering about, like how easy is it, how hard is it, like, you know, if you have a PixelBlaze that's running but you want a new feature, and you know there can be trepidation surrounding updates, understandably. So
I tried to make it pretty easy. So you see it's got like a little status there. It's telling you what it's doing, and
yeah,
it's just,
yep, running update, please wait. PixelBlaze will restart automatically when done. File 4 out of 4, and then it has a byte countdown. So it's telling me how many bytes remain. And right now there's like about 650 kilobytes remaining, and it's counting down very rapidly. Cool. Ooh, auto off timer, time zone, all sorts of cool stuff.
yeah. You could do a clock. You can make clocks with this. There's like some
Nice.
patterns functions to like get the year and month and hour and minute and all that kind of fun stuff.
Nice. Update complete, restarting. And then it blinked a couple times, and now it is solid.
Cool. And this page should reload in a second.
Cool. Pachoo.
There you go.
There we go.
Up to date.
Yay! And I'm just going to go back to settings just to make sure they're all good. They're all still good. Sweet. Oh, I'm going to have to come up with a new name for my PixelBlaze at some point in time too. But
Yeah.
yeah. Well, maybe I'll call it Alpenglow Sign. I mean, it's not very exciting, but it is descriptive. But I imagine, like, for somebody with a lot of PixelBlazes, right, that's kind of important. And like with your setup, in order to, am I not? There we go. Like capital A. Yeah, with your setup, with the syncing and stuff, you want to be able to know which one is which. Okay.
Yes, that becomes very hard once you become addicted to PixelBlazes and have several dozen.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. I am going to put this off to the side and see about getting the sign under the camera. Maybe. We will zoom out. Oop, that's the wrong way. Zoom out.
Oh, yeah. You got a nice camera setup.
It's not bad. I still wish the downward camera was like a little crisper and more high res, but also like it's interesting. Like I've tried streaming at full HD before, but a lot of times it overloads guests' internet, and then they become all stuttery, and that's no good. So I'm just broadcasting at 720 because way fewer network issues at 720. And so, you know, you don't get like quite as nice video out of that, but yeah, whatever. But at least this camera is like, you know, if I had a super great camera, it probably wouldn't really matter because of the streaming resolution. I'm going to see about brightening it up a little bit, maybe. Okay. So we got the sign, and we got the PixelBlaze.
Yeah, we have
Red is going to red.
some awesome comments in here, and I just want to give a shout out. There's so many awesome creators and LED artists.
Oh,
And
yeah. We have a lot of them.
We have many on the chat as well.
Totally. Yeah. Charlene and Sun and Moon. Yeah, you guys definitely have to know about each other. So Charlene is Chardane in places, and I think on Instagram, as well as Twitter, and maybe Mastodon too now, I think. And yeah, you definitely have to follow her because she does amazing stuff. Ho, 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 look at this.
Whoa.
Right?
There you go. You're done.
I'm done. It's so easy. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm super stoked. Yeah. So the way that this is wired is input is here, and it goes up and over the mountain there, and then it goes around the outside of the mountain, ending here. So
Cool.
cool. Okay, so now I want to try changing a pattern. Ha ha ha. Let's see. So what is it? What is it doing in Intro to PixelBlaze?
That one is mainly
what it's doing,
for
or-
the code editor.
Oh, okay.
And it's a huge bit of source code that is like mostly commented out, and you kind of follow along and read the
Nice.
instructions in it. And it teaches you all about what PixelBlaze is and how to code for it, and how like it's paradigms and idioms and things like that. And it's just a really great way to just get into writing your own stuff or modifying existing patterns. It's a great place to start.
Cool. What pattern is it running now by default?
This is called Fast Pulse.
Fast pulse. All right. Cool. Ooh, I'm gonna see about fireflies. Oh, look at that.
So one thing that I'm noticing is the firefly is usually orange. So I think what happened is the LED color order is another LED setting that we can tweak.
I think I have a funky LED too right here that keeps showing up as red. I don't know if you
It's
can
missing blue, huh?
see that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That happens.
Maybe. Yeah. Yep. That's what happens when you get LED scrap. Hey, it was free.
It's hard to beat the price.
That's right. That is right. So, okay, cool. So you're saying that fireflies is usually orange?
Yeah. So on your screen,
Yeah.
you should see a little live preview 1D up on the top of what it could what it should
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
look
yeah.
like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right up there.
Yeah.
And it should be orange. Yes.
Mhm. So
Got
if you go
it.
to settings, there's a color order, and it's probably like BGR or GRB or something like that.
Yeah, it is BGR right now. So we could. Should we just try another one basically try them until we get orange?
Try GRB. That's the other really common one.
Common one? Okay,
But-
GRB.
There you go.
Hey!
Cool.
Look at that. Cool. Now my one kind of funky one doesn't even look as funky. So, right. Awesome.
Yeah, because it has no blue.
No blue, right? So it's like, I don't care. Oh, cool. So, like, okay. So I have some ideas about what I might want to do with this sign. But let's just do one more fun thing. So this one is millipede.
Mm.
Wow. It is very sparkly on camera. Let me try something different. This is, yeah, okay. That is edge burst. So kind of like rainbow. Oh, wow, that is super interesting. Rainbow chases. And so if I now wanted to make the colors slightly different, but keep this pattern, I see that there's an edit button for the pattern.
Yeah.
Can I change the colors there?
You absolutely can. This is where having it on a computer is a little bit better.
That's a little bit better because I could,
'cause the editor on iOS has some issues. Like they changed a couple things and
This is an Android tablet.
Oh, there you go. That's a little bit better.
A little bit better.
Yeah.
So, okay, interesting.
And
Okay,
this is
so
really-
that opens up the editor.
Aside from just being an easy use LED controller, PixelBlaze is its secret magical power. And that is that PixelBlaze gives you an editor right there, built into the chip, like nothing to download or anything.
Yeah.
And it's live codable. So if you change something in there and it's syntactically valid, it'll be running on your LEDs instantly.
Awesome. And where is there like a tutorial for the syntax for somebody who's just brand new to this?
So there's two places. One is there's two places I want to tell you about. The first one is the intro to PixelBlaze code. That's a really good place to start. And that's the intro. That's like a walkthrough, and it teaches you the basics and goes through all that kind of stuff. And then the reference documentation, because we all need reference documentation, even if you already kind of know all this stuff, is right below the editor. So if you scroll the page, you'll be in the docs.
Cool. Cool. Yeah.
Oh, there's live preview.
Nice. Check that out. Wow.
Yeah.
So convenient.
And so
Interface controls.
if you kind of know JavaScript and you kind of like can pick up some of the bits from examples or whatever, this might be all you need. But the intro to PixelBlaze is a really good way
Cool.
to get started.
Cool.
Yeah. So the colors. This is going to be doing an HSV, yeah, and so this is doing a little bit extra math to create a different sort of curve that is feeding into hue. But if you want to change the colors here, from like kind of like a purple, magenta to orange kind of thing, right?
Yeah. How did you know?
That's a lucky guess.
See logo in upper right corner of screen.
So the HSV color space is really pretty cool because you can kind of picture hue as like the rainbow wrapped around a circle.
Yeah.
And so, if we start with 0, that will end up drawing red. So if you could actually type in there, if you erase whatever it's doing, you pass in instead of whatever it was doing, like H or whatever, like if you just put in 0, it'll just be red.
Okay. So if I just say HSV 0, yeah, or am I
just
putting
the first argument?
Putting 0
HSV.
instead of H. Got it.
Yeah.
Boop, 0. Where's my comma? There it is. Okay.
There you go. So this kept the brightness value, which is doing that pulse that's moving around, but all the colors are now set to red. Nice. Yeah. And so purple would be, and it depends on how you think about it. Purple is either way further after this. So it'll start at red at 0, and then a third of the way in it's green, another third of the way in it's blue.
Right.
And so past a third is between blue and red. Or if you think circularly, you're like, okay, if at 0, well, negative a third is blue. So you could go like negative. So purple is just to the negative side of red.
Yeah. Cool.
So you could either do like 0.8 or minus 0.2 to get kind of like in the kind of purple area.
Nice. All right. Let's try 0.8. Except for that one. It's a little bit bright, but it is purple. Yeah. Cool.
And then what we could do is we could create basically like a set of numbers that goes from that 0.8 through 0. And it wraps. So 1 and 2 and 3 and all whole numbers are the same. So it just keeps looping around. So that's fine. So you could go from 0.8 and add a little bit all the way up to where you want to get your orange, which is probably really not that far off from 0, just because it only takes just a smidge of green mixed in with red to make an orange.
Yep.
And then we'll create like a gradient basically between those numbers. And there's a couple different ways we could do it. So we could do it with just some math and like curves or just like a linear, a linear value between there and there. Or we could get into the new gradient palette API stuff. And so that's where you pick like RGB values, and you can have like an RGB is where, for the starting value, and then like go through like different sort of positions in the gradient to kind of like specify exactly where you want those transitions to occur. So if you have the details of your gradient that you used for your logo, you could probably use those as starting points.
Nice. Yeah, we do have that information. We have we have color values for the orange and the red and the purple. Yeah. The beginning, middle, and end, basically, I think. Yeah.
Because it looks like it's like right in the middle, right? But you could you can tweak it and adjust it if you need to, like to push the red up or down.
Right. Yeah. Cool. So I feel like what I would really want to do with this is there could be so many things, but I think I'd like to make it so that basically these upper pixels map to orange and like these, map to red and that these map to purple,
Yeah.
like the gradient, and then do different animations of the gradient.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And so that would,
So
I
you
would
might need to
assume,
pixel map it.
yes. Tell me about pixel mapping then.
All right. So PixelBlaze has a pretty unique way of doing pixel mapping. So PixelBlaze supports totally arbitrary coordinates for your pixels. They can be on a grid, like a regular matrix. They could be just totally haphazard. They could be wherever they are, really. And it has no limitations on that. It'll support 2D and 3D. To support stuff like this, there's a couple of different ways of doing it. Sometimes it's like algorithmically possible to do, like if you have like a spiral or like a matrix or something, like usually you can write a little bit of code that'll just generate the coordinates that fit within whatever that is.
Yeah. Matrix would be super easy. You're just like incrementing coordinates along the rows and along the columns.
Yeah, exactly. And you can even like draw lines from like one coordinate to another coordinate and have little functions that do all that kind of stuff. But for something like this, it would be super, super easy to use a tool that I built over a weekend. It's a weekend hack that is stuck. and I found useful, and it's great for something like this. So what I would do is get a picture of those with the LEDs on. So you're going to want to light them up enough that you can kind of see them clearly individually in the photo. And like you probably do that with them off, just because you have the pixels like really easily visible there. But if you have diffusion and stuff like that going on, usually like getting them kind of bright is pretty handy.
Ooh, I just saw the brightness slider at the very, very top.
Yeah.
Of the,
was it blinding you?
Web page. Yeah, no, it was kind of bright, and I was like, oh, hey, I bet you this thing with the light bulb next to it, right here at the top, is a brightness control.
Yep.
That's cool. Dang. Okay. Cool.
There's another one that you can use in settings, which will limit the maximum, and that's useful for power conservation, or if you just don't want it visually to ever be brighter than some percentage, you can set that in settings, and then your slider will go, from 0 to 100% of whatever that was.
Nice. Cool. Well, I think I am not going to save changes because, I didn't mean to reload the page. Just reloaded the page. That's okay. And let's see if I go back to Edge Burst. There we go. It's the rainbow again. So, so I guess this is, oh God, sorry. Keep reloading my page here. So question. Oh, if I just push off, does that shut everything off?
That's a sequencer, so it doesn't stop the pattern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a way to just turn everything off other than like unplugging it, of course?
Yes, if you want the brightness off, the slider is a good way to do that. But I think we want the LEDs to be illuminated with something, yeah? Or no?
Yeah, I guess just all solid. So so I could adjust the brightness and get a good picture.
Let's go hack some code.
Okay.
So go over to the Edit tab.
All right. Edit.
And hit New Pattern.
New pattern.
And you get the like hello world of LEDs, which is a rainbow.
Dang, of course. Nice.
Yeah.
Boop.
So you could either use that, or you can hack them. You could you drop the brightness down with V. You could set the hue to some specific color if you wanted to. You could do all those things.
Nice.
Or just go with the rainbow.
Yeah, no, I'll just do rainbow.
Cool.
And so cool. So now I'm gonna take a picture.
Yeah, and as long as you can see where the LEDs are in the picture, you're set.
And I just need it to, there we go, be right side up, hopefully. Cool. And indeed, I can see where the LEDs are in the picture.
Awesome. So then, and I haven't tested this on a tablet. Usually I use a computer, but doing it with fingers and not having the Z key to undo will be a little bit tricky, but we could give it a shot for sure. So you want to go to this URL. Do you have that URL? How do I send that URL? I'll send that to you in chat on this thing.
Cool.
And I'll drop. Wait, I can't comment.
All right.
If anybody else wants this tool, can we drop a comment for the?
Yes. Yeah, I can drop it in the chat. I know it doesn't allow.
And if y'all have a camera, you could follow along and map your own pixels.
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna paste it. Boop. There we go.
It's very, very austere Web 1.0 looking page, but
hey man, that you don't need fanciness for a lot of stuff. All right. Oh, hang on. .com/pixel map. Pixel map.html. Go. All right. Upload a photo.
purple is just to the negative side of red. Sounds like a great song lyric.
It's asking me if I want to record audio for some reason, but that is okay. Oh, interesting.
Choose a file should let you pick a photo.
Files. Let's see. There we go. Hey, it's like the one photo we have on this tablet. Check that out. Okay, cool.
So now the idea is you tap on the pixels and it'll drop a little number, which is the index.
Okay, and I want to be careful because I might not have an undo here. Yeah. So how should I number these? Should I?
You go from where the data starts.
Okay, go from where the data starts. So here.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right, but I guess, okay. I'm curious though as to how it knows where, oh, we're just getting coordinates at this point in time.
Yeah, so it knows that the map is empty right now. Mm-hmm. And so you're starting at index 0. So the first tap that you see will put a 0 there. And then it just counts up from there.
Okay, cool, yeah. 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I should make a tablet-friendly version.
It's pretty good.
I mean, worst comes to worst, what it's doing is it's spitting the coordinates in JSON up in the text area on the top left. You could go in there and like edit whatever.
Oh yeah.
If you needed to.
I like that all I have to do is tap on the LEDs. That makes it super easy.
Yeah. I mean, you could do like 1,000 LEDs and it like hardly takes any time at all. Whereas like, trying to wrangle something more complex, you could be, setting it up for hours.
Right?
I definitely
there we go. 0 to 51.
Cool. So now the little text area on the top left, you want to select all the stuff in there and copy that out.
Okay. Select all, copy.
Cool. And then switching over to the PixelBlaze, and then there's a mapper tab.
Okay. And whoop, right. Tab, PixelBlaze, and mapper.
Cool. And then hopefully you can paste it in there.
Yeah, right. Oh, I think that is it. Yeah. Hey,
look at that.
Whoa.
Okay. So it's in there. It might have squished it a little bit, but there's a drop down there that you can change to contain, and it should keep the aspect. It'll fix the aspect ratio.
Okay. Instead of fill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Cool. Map keeps its aspect ratio. Fill, if necessary, it'll be stretched or squished to fit every dimension. Got it. Yeah. Okay, cool.
And then hit the save button.
And then hit the save button. Where's the save button?
Just below the editor.
Just below the editor. No, I don't want to reload.
Scroll down on the page.
Scroll down. There we go.
Yeah.
Got it.
Cool. So now if you run Fast Pulse, it now is it's a 1D and 2D aware. So if you run a pattern like fast pulse on the, go back to the patterns tab,
Yeah.
it'll do like a cool like thing across it, like in 2-dimensional space instead of following the data path.
Dang. Okay. Whoa.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So the patterns have their own sort of defined start and stop point. Okay, that makes sense to me. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, inside the pattern code, if you go back to, if you go click on the editor and then you look at your code in there, you'll see that there's a render function that you were implementing. And the render function is for 1-dimensional renders or as a fallback if a higher dimensionality is not defined. But there are other render functions that you can use as well. So you could define a render 2D and you take in the index and an X and a Y coordinate. And then if you have a 2D map, it'll prefer that render function.
Ooh,
and so your pattern can actually support 1, 2, and 3-dimensional maps.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Nice.
So if you want to hack it, we could take the rainbow and then change it to render 2D with the capital D and add a comma X, comma Y to your function signature. And then we could do like a gradient over Y.
Okay, let's do it. So, okay. So which one did I want to start with?
That one's fine. The one that you got right now is your, it's just the default rainbow thing or whatever.
It's fast pulse 2D, 3D.
Yeah. So you see where it says export function render?
Yes.
Rename that to render 2D.
Ah, got it. Render
2 and a capital D.
Capital D.
And it should still work. So you're live, you're good to go. And there's 2 pieces of data that are being passed in that you don't have yet, which is X and Y. So if in the parameter list, after index, if you add comma X, comma Y.
In the parameter list. So, okay. It says it's index over pixel count right now.
Above that, where it says
I see.
Render 2D index in parentheses. Inside those parentheses, you want to add.
Got it. I'm adding function arguments.
Yep.
Got it. Cool. Comma X, comma Y.
So now you have X and Y. So if you want, we could change the hue to not be based on the index, but we can use it based on like Y, and you'll have a rainbow that goes from bottom to top or one of the two.
Yeah.
Vertically.
Yeah. Cool. How do I do that?
Okay, you see where it says H equals some math? Just set like H equals Y.
Okay. Oh. Okay. H currently equals like T1 plus index over pixel count.
Yeah.
So just set that to H equals Y.
Yeah. And now you've got a hue that goes over the Y. And so in PixelBlaze, all of the animation and color stuff and coordinate systems are all based on doing math within a 0 to 1 kind of range. And it makes it really easy to do all kinds of stuff in there. So hue takes an argument that's 0 to 1, your Y coordinate, and is converted into what I call world units. And it's like a 0 to 1 is the entire size of the world of whatever your map was.
Got it.
And so you can take your Y coordinate and feed it straight into as hue, and it just works.
Nice.
And then we could do other fun stuff. So let's say that it looks like it's starting from, so this is using like computer graphics kind of thing where Y0 is at the top and then it grows downwards.
Okay, yeah.
2D graphic convention.
Yep.
So what we want to do is we want to set like that initial thing, not to 0, but you want to start it at purple, right? No, that one's orange. Yeah. So you want to start it at orange.
Yeah.
So orange is probably like 0.02 or 5 or something like that. It's like a very small number.
Yeah.
So if you
let's say 0.2. Nope.
Like 0.02.
Oh, 0.02. Got it.
Like it's very little green is needed for an orange.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Because it's, yeah, if I can type. Okay. Yeah, I think it needs to be a little bit more towards yellow, actually. So I'm going to try to 0.03, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, there we go.
Cool. So now we have our start. And if you're thinking about it like a line, like if you're doing graphing stuff, like this is our, x equals y plus 0.0, would you have 3 or whatever. So that's where it starts.
Yeah.
And then we want it to go not all the way through the rainbow, but we want to go through a limited amount of the rainbow. So if our y is going from 0 to 1, and we want the range, the change that to really only change it from whatever the difference is between purple.
Yeah.
So if purple was, what was a good purple?
It was like 0.8, I think.
Okay, 0.8.
Yeah.
So we only have like 0.2 value that we want y to really go between.
Yeah.
Maybe 0.2 plus your 0.03 if you really want to get
Yeah. 0.24 to be exact.
So try so you have h equals your orange, right?
0.04.
Yeah. So add plus y.
Oh, right. Okay.
Times
this is now making sense. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Hang on. Plus y times 0.2. Ooh. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So it's going
in the positive direction, but we need it to go in the right direction.
So
instead of adding it, let's subtract
it. Yeah. Look at that. Oh man. Okay. Like I feel like I need some like diffusion right now so that you all can like see this, because
if you turn it up to blinding levels, we'll see it better.
You'll see it.
Just look away.
Just look.
Oh, look at that.
It's pretty darn good. I would probably
the trick is going to be expanding the range between the orange and the red, because numerically they're so tight together.
Yep. So it would need to be some sort of a little bit of a weird function there.
Yeah, you could do it. You could do it the mathy way, or you could do it the like with the gradient API way.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, there's a number of different ways to do that. You could have a little bit of logic above it or whatever, and say like, if y is less than 0.5, the 0 to 0.03 scale, and if it's greater than, do then the rest or whatever. But
yeah, I think that's what I would probably end up doing. Yep.
It's more mathy, but less typing than the gradient way.
So wait, what the gradient way being?
That's where so that would be creating an array structure that has 4 elements per color stop. So the first one is like what position it is from 0 to 1 is like a percentage. And so your first one would be 0.
Right.
And then the next 3 are RGB values from 0 to 1 of what color you wanted it to be. And so your top is that 0.03 or whatever. A few. So that, we'd have to figure out like what color that would look like in RGB. So like probably like 1, and then like some very small number for green.
Yeah.
It's working in RGB space instead of
I know. Which it was so interesting when I did that project for Alicia's class. Started working with a color wheel, and I just wanted to display colors in a wheel, and I was used to working, I had done sort of minimal LED work before, and so I was just used to just doing it the stupid simple way and doing like RG and B values, and I'm like, this I can't know. And then I was like, oh, Hue was made for this. And it made everything a lot easier. But yeah, I was like, okay, I guess I'm converting color spaces now. And then I had to dive into the rabbit hole of color spaces and learn all about those. And yeah. Yeah, no, super, super interesting. But yes, I'm a big fan of HSV. A lot easier to logically think about color order than to try to figure out what your percentages are in RGB.
Yeah. But the gradient palette API stuff that works in RGB space.
Okay.
So I mean, it's really up to you. Either way that you want to go about it. We could just, I mean, I'm sure it's possible to like math it out with some big long fancy, curve or whatever. But
yeah, I think I would just do it, and I don't think I'll do it right now, just because typing in the screen and stuff. But
that's dangerously close for
it is really close. It is really, really close. I wish you could see how I see it with my eyes, because it's really good.
Awesome.
It's very exciting. So I kind of want to flip this over and see, just place a piece of that glittery panel behind it and see what that does. We'll see if I can do that without breaking anything here. Glad I cleaned off the desk. All right, don't click on anything on the stream here. All right, there we go. Mouse is out of the way. And then let's see. Can I just keep the PixelBlaze outside of it? I'm not gonna. Right. Ooh, you might be able to see it better. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Let's see. So, oh yeah.
Even on the black with a little, yeah. You can see it come through.
Yep. So you can kind of see that at the very, very top, there's orange, which you're not really able to see right now. But, and so that's another good point too, because the orange is sort of outside of these, the little starburst, and they're so small, I might have to extend orange further down than I really generally would on the logo in order for it to kind of show up, But yeah, it's not showing up on the camera very well. I just want to see if the white gives it a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like you're already in red.
What's that?
It looks like it's, at least on the stream thing, it looks like it's red by the time it gets to the starburst a little bit. Yeah, it's just like orange at the very, very top. So I would definitely want to extend it more and have the red come down here. But let me see. have to see what happens when we add some glitter. Yeah.
So yeah, for those of you that aren't aware of what I've been doing lately, I've been making some yarn tools, and I discovered the world of glitter acrylic, and it totally rocked my world. And now everything is glitter acrylic related.
I'm fighting so hard not to just buy one of everything on that shop.
Oh my God,
that comes through.
It does. Oh, dude. This is so cool.
That's cool.
Dude, this is gonna be great. Let me see. Do I actually have enough with this one panel? Oh, it's not quite big enough. Dang it. All right. We need some more glitter acrylic stat. But oh my God, that looks amazing. That looks so good. Get the backing out of the way for it now. Yes. All right. So I'm going to cut a piece that's around here. And then I kind of don't want to drill more holes through the sign. I'm going to have to figure out a way to maybe just double stick tape it around the edges. Actually, that would be fine, to just space it off of the LEDs just a little bit.
On one thing I did, I cut little side cut like little clips or whatever, and they
Oh,
like
yeah.
glued those, and then they had like just like a little like an F shape, and then that
Yeah.
would hold on to the edge of the other
Oh,
thing.
interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
I've got it some.
Where did you get those clips?
I just
Where,
I just in like Lightburn, I just drew an F shape
oh, I see what you're saying.
of like the
Okay.
appropriate dimensions. Yeah.
Got it.
That was for the pumpkin thing.
Interesting. Hmm.
Lightburn.
We have some foam tape. I might just use some foam tape since you can't really, no, nobody will see it. It's the back.
Yeah. No, totally.
Wow. Okay. This is going to be awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
That's good. That's good glitter acrylic for sure.
It is.
For
I'm
the
like,
ladies.
I'm looking at this and I'm like, shit, maybe I need to like freaking start a sign business.
Yeah.
Buy a bunch of PixelBlazes, a bunch of glitter
Yeah.
acrylic.
You find out a way to source that. Like, we'll team up. We'll be unstoppable. LEDs and glitter acrylic.
All right, I'm in. I'm in. Oh, cool. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, I want to see. Oh no, that thing's too big. I have some frosted, like some like clear frosted acrylic, but it's in a giant panel, and I can't get that on the desk and everything else as well. But now I kind of want to see if a different kind of glitter acrylic, how it looks. So you still have some backing, some like clear. Oh, that one. Well, that's okay. We'll just do it like this. So this is like the like not very dense silver glitter, which I kind of like. It has this really nice like light ethereal look. This is like super dense glitter. Oh, which isn't as good. Yeah. Which makes sense because the light doesn't really, shine into the acrylic very much.
Yeah.
But then there's also this like glitter flake stuff, which is kind of cool. But I don't know, too distracting. Too distracting.
Pull it
Pull it. Yeah, I have
out a little bit. Yeah, then the light has like a chance to kind of shine on it. Because the other stuff is like coming in the acrylic. This is like has to go.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's too distracting. I think I like the first one the best.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I think that this one is just, it's great. It's like a little more magic-y, sparkly in the background kind of thing going on. Not too distracting, but gives it just enough shine.
That's great.
Oh, thank you, Jason. Hi, how's it going? I don't know if you've been here the whole time. We were talking about you. Only good things, I promise. Ah, cool. Oh, I'm so excited.
Awesome.
Okay, so I had more questions for you. Haha. All right. So my closing out questions are like, well, you've already showed us kind of what's next for PixelBlazes a bit with the syncing and stuff like that. And that is really cool. Is there anything else that's maybe not PixelBlaze related that like you're working on that you want to share, or that you're thinking about working on, or that you wish you had enough time to work on? Or
I've got like 2 hours of slides to go through.
Awesome. We got 15 more minutes. Go.
Cool. Yeah, I could. So I did have a little bit more PixelBlaze stuff. I had like some PixelBlaze history.
Oh, yes. Show us some PixelBlaze history and like, take it away.
Okay. I think you have to switch the presenter thing.
Yes. Hang on. I got to find my mouse again.
So we're going backwards in time from current to. That's weird. Oh, here we go. I got to press it. There we go.
There we go.
From current tense to past tense. I was digging around and I found photos of old Pico prototypes that I had designed. And like originally I was like, I had a PCB antenna and like a USB connector and stuff like that. And then like I shrunk it down even more, and there were some pins there, and I
Mhm.
did some other bits and pieces, and then I ended up with the one on the bottom, which is really close to where I ended up with.
Mhm. So just a little bit, backing up just a little bit for people who might not be like super familiar. So the PixelBlaze uses an ESP32, correct?
Yeah.
And the ESP32 module is a module that has an antenna on it. It has like the Wi-Fi chip on it. Well, it has Wi-Fi built into the whole chip.
Yeah, it's like the ESP Room WROOM 32 is like what most people think of as the ESP32. It's the module.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
the ESP32 is actually like a chip inside that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
under that metal shield, there's the ESP32, there's some a flash chip, a separate IC for that, crystal, and like a bunch of passives and stuff like that.
Cool. But it's super convenient all as the one package because you can just plop it on something and immediately start doing stuff with it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of big, and so you wanted something that was a little bit of a smaller, tighter form factor.
Yeah.
For wearables, yes?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And Espressif made something called the ESP32 Pico D4, which is a mouthful of a part number, but they took all that stuff and they took the flash and the crystal and some antenna stuff, not all the antenna stuff, but some antenna stuff, and put it all in a system on a chip. So they have, it's this footprint right there that you can kind of see, the big thing in the middle, that has all of that in one component. So you really, like, you just give it power and you're good to go.
Nice.
So this board has a voltage regulator to take your 5 volts and give it the 3.3 that it needs. It's got a level shifter because you need those for adjustable LEDs to bring that back up to 5 volts because most of them operate on that level. Some of the newer ones can work with lower, but sometimes you get into like sort
data
of
sheet
situations and it like glitches out, and it's just for solid stuff, just level shifters.
Just level shift it up to 5 volts. Yep.
And then depending on your antenna, like there's a bunch of RF magic that has to happen. And I used also some really awesome cheater guides for this kind of stuff, and got a nice low cost, not a vector network analyzer, but it's like some like half version of that was able to do antenna tuning and stuff. And so I was able to like dial it in and get it just right. It was a lot of fun. And
like a
really
little spectrum analyzer, kind of.
Yeah, I forget what it's not like a full spectrum
analyzer.
Okay. It's like a
it's like a Viswar kind of a thing or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You could just do the standing wave types measurements and stuff.
Cool.
And I'm not showing you the picture of what it is today, but it's got a couple of other little small components to do that kind of stuff, but kept that nice super small form factor. But anyway, so there's a little bit of Pico history. And that project started years before V3 was actually released. So hardware aside, it just took so long to get the software like where it needed to be. This is something that I worked on. This is a low power Zao Plus form factor that I was working on for a super low power PixelBlaze variant. So this is not Wi-Fi. This would be like web serial kind of thing. Like super low power, could run on like little tiny batteries forever.
Cool.
This is the original V3 family. So you had the Pico, you had the standard, and you had that thing on the right that was going to be the Pro version of PixelBlaze. And I was like, throw all the things at it. It's got a micro SD card. It has all the bits for the sensor board on there. So audio jack, microphone, 8-channel level shifter. So the way I had this kind of configured, you could have like 6 channels and then a couple like shared clocks and things like that. But the analog on that was just all bad. And I ended up going a different route. So I have output expanders that you had to standard to get more outputs. But I thought people might find that kind of interesting. It might come back someday. Who knows? Because like there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with like micro SD card and an OLED screen and stuff like that.
So I'm curious actually about your little onboard PCB antenna journey, because it looks like you threw out the onboard PCB antenna and went with a chip antenna instead.
I did.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, tell me about that a little bit, because I think that like it's easy to see antennas as part of PCBs and be like, oh, I can just throw an antenna on this PCB, no problem.
yeah, and
Yeah.
there's footprints you can just slap on there, but you still
Right.
have to tune
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And all these designs didn't really have the tuning, uh, and you should tune to get the best RF experience. But
Mhm.
honestly, you don't have to. Like, you could stick a piece of wire of random length, and the ESP32 will get Wi-Fi for a couple of feet.
Yeah.
It's crazy how good it works with absolutely nothing. Like, it's pretty crazy. But I really wanted to maximize the range and stuff like that. The reason I went to the chip antenna over the PCB antenna was mainly around size.
Okay. Yeah.
I wanted it to be thin, so I couldn't rotate it.
Mhm.
And it has to be like certain dimensions and stuff, unless I go, like, I don't have the RF background to go design my own fractal PCB antenna.
Yeah.
That's shorter. I'm sure some exist, but I couldn't find any that I could use.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with the chip antenna.
Okay. Cool. It was the one that's the second one from the bottom, the one that's just the last version of the PCB antenna. Is
Mm-hmm.
that just silkscreen, the white,
Yeah.
or is that some? Okay.
Yep.
I
So
was
that's
wondering if there was like a fancy substrate going on or something like that, but
nope. That's just Osh Park. That's what
cool.
they look like if you take away all the
Okay.
layers of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Um, yeah. A lot of this was sort of like reading different stuff and learning different things and trying different stuff to kind of figure out what works
Hmm.
best and just experimenting. And like some things, like with RF, like they have the traces exposed because the mask can very slightly change the dielectric strength, and it will slightly change the tuning.
Yeah.
But I think it's like so minor compared to like doing the proper matching network that like that's really where you'd probably want to spend your time,
Hmm. Yeah.
or at least where I ended up spending all my time.
Cool.
Yeah. So I first, and everybody should do this. If you have a fun project you think other people might like, you should build a handful of them and throw them on Tindy or whatever. That's how I started with all this stuff. I got some PCB maze. This is PixelBlaze version 1
Ah,
that was sold on Tindy.
cool.
And of course, if you look, there's little tiny silkscreen print V2. This is actually version 2 board. It was a project that like morphed into what is PixelBlaze. So this is the first like actual product PixelBlaze with the software and this form factor and everything.
Nice.
And that's my prototype that I built this whole thing on, like initially. And I must have reflashed this board thousands of times, the poor thing.
Nice.
That was
Whoa.
the original where it came from.
What?
This was the first. Oh, Jason's asking if there's any plans for an S3 PixelBlaze. Maybe. There's some interesting stuff on the S3, but mainly it's more pin counts, a lot of extra peripherals. There's a little bit of extra compute in terms of like some of the instructions that they support and things like that, but I'd have to do extra so the engine wouldn't support it too much. So it's something I want to look at. But yeah, so this is the original thing that ended up becoming PixelBlaze. So PixelBlaze never ran on this, but something else did. It was a little web page where you threw an image up, very much like my pixel mapper, but then it took the columns of pixels of whatever image you did and like interpolate between them as it scanned across the x-axis in time.
Oh,
And then it could drive an analog LED strip for white illumination.
oh, cool.
There's the home etch PCB.
I was gonna say. Nice. Nice.
And that was the Radio Shack perf board thing that I made before that.
Yes.
But it was for this, which was a collaboration between an artist, a friend of mine in Santa Cruz, and he was making this, and he wanted to add some really cool RGB color LEDs to it, as well as it had a lot of stuff that needed just plain illumination with some brightness control. And there's
Cool.
this thing is like the size of a wall.
Wow.
It's absolutely massive. It is installed in a hotel somewhere in Santa Cruz.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's where it started.
Dang, that's so cool. I
Yeah.
love it.
I I built the first 70, 75 of these with like tweezers on like a skillet hot plate for soldering. Like,
Dang.
yeah.
And now you have your own small pick and place setup and reflow oven setup and stuff like that, and you do all of your own assembly work.
I do.
Yes, that which I'm like, wow, that's amazing. That in that way lies madness.
Oh yes, for
Oh
sure.
yes.
For
How
sure.
much time do you spend like tweaking that setup and maintaining it? And how sensitive is it to things like ambient temperature and humidity and age of your paste and, you know, whether
Yes.
Mercury is in retrograde or not?
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. And like if it's angry at you.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like, like what the tape that you bought, like some small variation of its manufacturing properties, like a million
Oh,
things. So
yeah.
having a low end pick and place machine is sort of like having a very finicky 3D printer that you're constantly having to mess around with.
Hmm.
Um, there are things I love about it, things I don't love about it. So uh, I really love it for building like 100 or a couple hundred of
Hmm.
something. I don't love building thousands and thousands of them, except for a couple of a couple of reasons. One is mainly just maintaining quality,
Yeah.
and there's a couple of things that, and there's things that are better now, but like especially for LEDs, uh, sourcing LED panels that were high quality but inexpensive was just really really difficult. I
Hmm.
would get batches where like the LEDs had been mistreated during manufacture. They had moisture damage and they would like fail. Sometimes
Hmm.
not fail immediately, but they would fail after some weeks of use. And it's just really not an experience that I wanted to pass off to my customers. So I
Yeah.
ended up building my own LED panels. Same thing with the
Dang.
PixelBlaze. It's a quality thing. I want people to have a really good experience. I want them to have something that's like rock solid that they can trust in that will work.
Yeah.
Um, it's really a good place to start, especially if you're working with LEDs, which are naturally finicky. They've got their own thing, like the blue like cutout. Is that because of the LED or because of like your controller? Like you want to know that you know,
Yeah.
it's a nice solid thing to build off of. Um, but yeah, to that end, like I've done a lot of investing in like building tooling internally.
Yeah.
The pick and
What is
place
this tooling that
machines.
we're looking at right now?
Yeah, so this is a fleet of Raspberry Pis, and it's not even new Pis. Like I just scrounged everything I'd laying around from every old project. Um, yeah, so I made a programmer tester jigs,
Hmm.
and so this has got a bed of nails, pogo pins underneath, and you slap a PixelBlaze in it, detects that it's in there, flashes a test firmware, tests all the pins on the underside.
Nice.
I don't know if folks saw, but there's like a million little different connections. To save space, they're pads on the other side,
Yeah.
but you can solder wires off. Um, they're 10th inch, so you could even like kind of like surface mount solder like pin headers and things to that to bring out like extra I/O for things. So it tests all those,
Hmm.
make sure there's no shorts and stuff like that,
Nice.
and then flashes a production firmware. And then the PixelBlaze sign lights. That's actually LED. So the PixelBlaze, when it first fires up, is actually
Mhm.
driving those LEDs. So they're flashing and doing cool animations. It's working.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, designing
That's
the
awesome.
circuit board hat that fit on a Raspberry Pi, the Python scripting that does all the automation. Like
Hmm.
it was a lot of tooling to kind of build and design, but it's important because
Yeah.
I'm, building a bunch of these, it's very time consuming. Like when I started, I was just kind of like holding a pin header like sideways to like make a good connection to like program them. And
Yeah.
then like another thing for LEDs, it's,
Yeah.
it's unscalable, but what are you going to do
Nice.
as a small business owner and maker? Like you're going to make your own tools.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And like, um, yeah, it's, I mean, yeah, you just need test fixtures when you're starting to do, especially when you're testing complicated boards like that, and you're doing, batches of 100 or whatever. Test fixtures are very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're even getting big enough that you're outsourcing stuff to a contract manufacturer or something, they're going to be building test fixtures to do this. So it's like, yeah,
Yep.
for every size, really, it's handy. And it enables you to have consistency, which is really important.
Yeah.
It saves time down the line with troubleshooting.
Yeah, for sure. I've got another one here for the Picos. So this will flash 4 at a time. It's got a little USB hub chip in there, and then 4 USB serials, and then a couple of LEDs in there. So they'll kind of like flash up under it. I've got that black LED acrylic, so it's not blinding you while they're doing their thing. But you can kind of see, like in the middle, one is actually sandwiched in there. You can see the pogo pins poking up.
Yep. Nice.
And then, I was talking about LEDs and moisture damage. Well, I need to dehydrate LEDs, like especially if you do a run and you open the spool and you have the spool exposed to air that's absorbing moisture, and it gets into that little clear lens stuff and can create what I call popcorn. I've done this. I've seen it, like with really, really moisture contaminated LEDs on the hot plate. I could hear this crackling sound, like what is going on? And you see the clear lens just go shh, and like it's like ice, when you pour water on ice, and they like make all these little microfractures in there. It's crazy. So I needed a way to dehydrate all this stuff, and I bought a commercial food dehydrator and converted it to a dehydration oven. But I made this little thing that's got a whole bunch of extra safeties. The original board failed that was on the on this thing, and just absolutely destroyed like hundreds and hundreds of dollars of LEDs. Just melted it into
God
slag.
Oh
yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. No good. So I've got 3 of those Dallas temperature probe things in there in different spots. So you see 3 temperatures in C, and a nice little graph. And what you don't see is the wires going up to that thing above. That's like 120 decibel siren. When things go off the rails,
you want to know.
Anywhere in the house, outside, I'll hear it.
Awesome. Is that just an Arduino Nano?
It's like a Nano clone. Yeah.
Clone, yeah. Cool.
Because it have boxes of those things laying around, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we all do.
Making my own boards.
Partnering
with Jason for these are the same panels that are used in the Lux Lavalier.
Nice.
And then these are some of the other LED panels.
Holy shit! Yeah, that's a lot of LEDs.
This is pictures from the crowd supply campaign. So we had
wow,
a lot to make. Yeah.
Nice.
All the way down to like
pasting.
So I have opinions about this. I don't do anything super fancy. I've just got this little spatula I borrowed that came with my 3D printer for separating prints that I end up using. But it gets okay. But the trick is this paste. GC10 paste is like super magic. It like barely solder bridges at all. Like it's got this super crazy high shelf life. You could like leave it out overnight and your solder paste is still okay in the morning. Like I don't really do that, but you can.
Yeah.
So that solves so many problems around the logistics of pasting and running the boards.
Cool.
And you could see the finished product there.
Nice.
So that is a panel. Each one of those is 11 millimeters across.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang. So just a little over a centimeter.
Yeah.
Boop.
Lasers. I want to talk about laser. Have fun laser stuff. I don't know how much time we got. We're over.
Oh, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. You just said lasers.
Here's something you should not try at home.
Wow. Yes, agreed. I like the hand mirror.
My daughter courageously lent that for this project.
Nice. Wow.
I don't know if this is going to come through. But it totally works.
I was going to say, did it work? I know. I've seen people like put like pies and stuff in their lasers, and I'm just like, dude, just like we've cut so much glue and plastic in that thing. I just do not want to put a pie in my
right?
laser.
And
Yeah,
then
I just like no.
lasers, they don't like slowly cook or brown something. They like vaporize it immediately. So like
Yeah.
you're gonna have just
Well,
unburnt stuff and like carbon char.
well, it's like people have put cooked pies in there to like etch a design on top of them, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm still just like, yeah,
But
no.
it
No
tastes
food
worse.
in the laser.
Yeah, it tastes worse.
Yeah. Ugh.
Um,
Oh my
so
God.
I have to click. There we go. That was my first laser. This is my second laser.
Yeah.
Quite an upgrade.
Cool.
and
How
of course,
big is the bed on yours?
that one
Oh,
is
is that a full sheet?
1400 millimeters. So that is a 4x8 sheet. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It'll
Cool.
handle a little bit more than that wide, and then three something feet deep.
Yeah.
And Lightburn's got like this fancy like cut print kind of thing where you can like cut a little bit and like have some markers and feed it in and continue where you left off. And
I've not tried that yet.
haven't used that yet, but theoretically I could like incrementally cut a piece that big.
Wow. Are you using it for really large pieces right now, or like what are you?
I have a couple of designs for large pieces. Most of the stuff I've done so far is small. Most.
Okay.
I've done a couple of bigger things that would be hard on like a Glowforge size thing.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I could have gotten away for most things on a small, especially since I'm doing like beautiful box type stuff.
I know.
On
That's
Next
what I
Level
was
Ears, it's like they're
asking.
not huge. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, there is something to be said for being able to use material more efficiently and just put an entire
Yeah.
sheet in there and then, do 100 all at once. That's,
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause,
yeah.
I mean, they'll cut it down, but then you have like stuff that doesn't fit, so you could just use bigger sheets or cut it to whatever you need. Yeah.
Nice.
Of course, my first laser project was an air filter.
Oh, for the laser. Nice. Cool.
But yeah, there's the front panels for Lux Lavaliers.
Oh, nice.
So I
All
could do
masked.
a giant sheet of that all at once.
Cool.
And then other fun projects like this
Ooh.
Christmas topper thing I made.
Nice. Cool.
And that's what I got for lasers. I had other stuff in here.
Nice.
Let's see what else we got. Oh, other projects. Cynthia.
Ooh.
This I'm bringing this back. So this is another art project I've been working on for a couple of years. And this is a 2018 Maker Faire, Bay Area. I took it there. And this is one of the larger format things. The thing on the right, you'll see another picture of it, but they're pretty long, like sweeping arms of acrylic that the LED strips are then mounted to. And so it's helpful to have something pretty big for this. I don't know if the audio is going to come through, but we'll see.
I'll try it.
So this is a light piano.
Nice.
But yeah, those fins are pretty big. So
Yeah.
that wouldn't fit for sure. But I'm bringing this back. So I'm going to use not the tree looking like structure, but the piano bit. Oops.
What are you using there? How is the piano part constructed?
Yeah. So this is a layer of acrylic. Underneath that is a printed circuit board that I designed that is basically like large copper pads under each key.
Okay.
And then there's a microcontroller, an STM32 on the flip side they have a touch sense controller peripheral. And I kind of like got really deep into that and like overclocked it and like really like nerded out super hard. And I got it. So first of all, touch sensors are not designed to read through 6 millimeters of acrylic.
Yeah.
That's the first challenge.
Yeah.
So having huge pads underneath helped, and kind of, I want to say going off spec, but certainly being creative with parameters being fed to this thing. And then I like got really crazy and I like figured out a way to like sample it super, super fast. And so I could actually do velocity detection with this.
Whoa.
With this kind of crazy trick where I was basically measuring it so fast that I could detect that it was like kind of a linear increase in capacitance until your finger started smushing against the acrylic.
Yeah.
And then that was like the start of the press. And then how
Yeah.
fast you pressed it uh, to the maximal point of depression, where your finger was the most mushed onto the surface of the acrylic, and you had
Yeah.
the highest capacitance. The speed at which you traverse that was basically relative to how fast you were hitting the key with any finger. And I got
Whoa.
it to do velocity, so you could then feed it into MIDI, and then like have like light piano presses and like really really hard
Okay.
piano presses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. That's awesome. So you're basically like kind of using that velocity to determine like the force at which it was pressed and then
yeah,
change the tone according to
yeah,
that.
yeah. I was using
That's cool.
your finger flesh as
Yeah.
like the mechanical thing
Yeah.
that the actual force was being applied to, but I'm
Right.
measuring velocity effectively.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
was really fun, kind of nerding out about all that stuff.
That's super cool. And
Um,
so now is there a separate board per color there, per key? Or
this will handle 12, I think about 12 keys.
okay.
And then there's a couple segments. So if I scrub here, you don't really get to see. I'll show it. Let me get a different video.
Mhm.
So after Maker Faire, it was reconfigured and displayed for about a year at the Children's Museum, and that was great
Nice.
because like earlier versions, like I had
Yeah.
arcade buttons, they'd wear out. I had this other clickety
Mm,
clackety thing with the contact switches. It was like somebody came over and like punched the keyboard and shattered the acrylic, and this was indestructible.
nice.
Lived for a year at a children's museum,
Eh,
and I lost some of the display acrylic bits uh, just for simplicity.
Yeah.
But that's good stuff. So you could see there, that's 3 or 4 keyboards kind of chained together.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow.
But yeah, I'm reworking that. So I'll use these keyboards with some of the display stuff of the other things.
Mhm.
But I'm going to use an older form factor. I've been doing this. There's the keyboard.
Ooh, there we go.
There's
Okay.
one
Got
segment
it.
of the keyboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's sandwiches of printed circuit board, laser cut acrylic.
Hmm.
And what I do is I drive a line all the way through, but not edge to edge. And that creates a light barrier so that the keys don't bleed into each other. But it's
Mm.
still one
Yep.
piece.
Dang. Cool.
Yeah. And then bolt either mirror or dark acrylic on the top. And what that does is it also creates a lip so that the LEDs kind of like slide in there. And then
Hmm.
the package is held by the overhanging lip of that thing. And then these things on the back kind of like hold the strip to the edge.
Nice. That is super cool.
This is the first version of Cynthia. And it was kind of like reverse Guitar Hero. And it just shot like beams of light across based on whatever key you pressed. And I like
Nice.
the synthesizer like thing does a much better visualization of like the sound, but like this was cool because I made it 2-player. So you had one of these things on either side, and people could like play each other, and they just like sit there and like shoot lights back and forth, and they just have fun. And if you had somebody that was musically inclined, you could kind of get like a little band thing going
Like
on
duet
there.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, that's cool.
And I've got a bunch of other stuff. I don't know for how we're on time.
I think we could go for like 15 more minutes.
Okay, I'll try to. I
If
want to
you,
show
if you,
everybody everything. It's a good thing we did PixelBlaze first.
I'm losing the in studio help here, but that's cool.
Okay. So this is another thing I'm working on. This is something I just want to exist. This is a roughly pen-sized oscilloscope. And there's doing
Yeah.
a square wave of itself at a pretty high speed. So I'm pulling about 2.5 megasamples a second.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, the idea is, super, super slim, super form factor. You could just have it on your bench or whatever. I mean, I love real oscilloscopes, but like they're just so big and clunky and things like that. And even like
Sometimes you just need to quickly see something. Just like I feel like that all the time on like when I'm setting up PWM timers,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, is this thing really doing what I am expecting it to do? And you just want to see the waveform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
up to a couple of hundred kilohertz, this will work out.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, other fun LED projects. This is another
Ooh.
one. This is an offshoot. So I told you I got it started programming assembly for a PIC that was just a one little RGB, and then you spin it around, and you get persistence of vision. This is me going to like that, but like to the freaking extreme. This is 9 3-watt LEDs
Whoa.
and a battery
Okay.
operated baton thing that you could then spin around. It was light enough that you could spin it around. And it was so bright. I mean, you would be blinded looking at this and cause serious eye damage. Here it
Holy,
is compared to fire poi. Somebody spinning fire poi.
holy.
It's brighter than fire.
Dude. So could anybody actually were you actually writing words on it or just patterns?
No, it was a single pixel.
It was
One
just
one color, but then
okay.
persistence of vision. You could draw rainbows and stuff
Right.
like that, but it wasn't doing
Yeah.
like
It wasn't doing
complicated
any time.
text or
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, it was doing time. So
Uh,
you could draw color
Okay.
patterns, but you
Yeah.
had basically one pixel that you're
So
painting with.
yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
As opposed to like now you could get like strips and you can like do
Yeah.
really and with PixelBlaze is great for that. You could do POV effects and have like cool textures that are like one dimensional this way, but then being drawn across over time.
Nice.
But yeah, this is just one pixel. There's the PCB bits for it. But yeah, this is basically a little pic here driving a giant MOSFET that was then switching out the RGB because it's just dumping in just insane amounts of amps through this thing.
Ah.
Oh, this is another fun one. This is a persistence of vision clock. So what I did is I made these like little wedges, and I could shine light up underneath and illuminate just that wedge. And in each wedge, I had a different number. And so by knowing what time I had, it could draw that number in one of 3 different positions, as well as a couple of other characters. And it doesn't video super good, but it looks better in person because the video like does weird stuff with the frames.
Yeah.
Here you can kind of counting up from 370 whatever. Let's see if that came through.
Cool.
But yeah, fun stuff with
Yeah.
LEDs and acrylic.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely have to do some more with LEDs and acrylic now that I have a laser cutter. Ooh,
This should
glowy.
have been a video. Yeah, this is a fun one. I made these for the kids. They're like the little battery with like a 4 RGB LEDs that does a bunch of different patterns and stuff, and they would like run for a week. It's
Nice.
crazy. Yeah.
Ah,
Fun badges.
yeah. What's on top of the skull at the very top?
That was a 3D printed clip because I didn't do it quite right. So the
Ah.
USB connector was right where the lanyard should have been.
Right, got it.
So I'm
So,
mounting holes for like a double clip lanyard, but I didn't have double clip lanyards.
love it.
Laser cut
Cool,
RGB
more
clock.
clock.
That's got a
Yeah.
PixelBlaze in it.
Nice.
But so like the blue would be the hours and the green is the minutes and the red goes around once a minute.
Nice.
That was on the blue laser. I got to redo this now that I have a real laser because it was like burning out the little bits in between the digits or whatever.
Yeah.
I know this is a lot
Ooh,
of fun. This is the
little
same thing
spider.
as the other one, but then I poked fiber optics into the
Okay.
dome part and then like hot glued the crap out of it and then heat met the little legs. My son loves spiders,
Nice.
so I made him a glowy spider.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. That is super cool. Okay, that's what was on your desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is wave cubed. Just
I
little-
like that a lot. That
I
is
just
really
like acrylic
cool.
stuff.
Yeah. Glitch says, love the oscilloscope.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
This is my kids with Deborah's,
Deborah's-
LED pillows.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're like, oh, it's so soft, it's snuggly.
Yeah. I love it.
Oh,
Ooh,
we did a Christmas tree out here one time where we just put a bunch of these things in there. Some more fun
nice.
projects.
I'm
Oh,
looking at your
actually,
small parts storage behind you.
yes, a couple, along with the hanging cube
Cube,
in the
yeah.
back. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, there's my kid. I did
Oh, nice.
uh, the edge lit LED strip around the brim of a hat with,
Yeah.
and then laser cut the retroreflective material for a unicorn on top.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, your kids have got to be probably like the most styling kids with all of their cool LED gear.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Oh, here's the Halloween thing I did. This is better as a video. Just
Nice.
sort of like mad scientist, like Frankenstein.
Yeah. Awesome.
That was just like one of those skeletons, like with some LEDs in it, with a sheet over it, and it totally looks like there's a person there. And then like it does the cartoon, like you can see the skeleton as they get electrocuted thing.
Yep. Yep. Did you put that like outside of your house for Halloween or like
Yeah, this was like in the garage. The garage was open, and this was like the
nice?
lab inside the thing that you could go up to, and you get candy from the mad scientist.
Nice.
Just random hallway decorations.
Cool. Yeah.
You seen these?
Hey,
Yeah.
it's right there. Hang
Yeah.
on. Gotta get a better view. Woo!
Awesome.
Yay! I love the rainbow.
But these are great. Like PEX tubing from like plumbing
Mhm.
that like I got it in like a big coil, and it was like going to be really hard to unbend, and I just left it
Yeah.
bent. Like, oh, this is perfect.
So there you go. Didn't have to do any work. Cool.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I have Sauron something going on.
I built this for an art car of my friends, and they have this big skull thing, and they needed a new eye, and so I did the Eye of Sauron thing with lightning coming out of it.
Nice. Awesome.
And then I
And then,
made an actual Eye of Sauron LED pattern, which looks really good, really freaking good on the Fibonacci 512 here.
whoa. Wow.
This is,
It really looks like three-dimensional on it. That is so cool.
yeah. I had like people like across the street like gawking a lot at Halloween time. This is good.
Nice.
Random fractal fireballs. I got a million things. I just have too much stuff to show.
There are worse things than having too many LED projects to show.
Some LED earrings I was making.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't quite. There was a couple of things I needed to fix or whatever, but the idea was like super small. So I think this is 20 millimeters wide.
Hmm.
Um, and then this uses the same kind of deal as I had for
Okay. Yeah.
that other badge, the skull badge.
Hmm.
Same kind of electronics.
Hmm.
Um, oh, where'd my video of it go? I have a video somewhere. Maybe it'll. I didn't order the slides. I think. PixelBlaze cube.
Yep. Nice.
This is another thing I was working on. These are little plant sensors. So they're little capacitive sensors. You poke into the soil, and
Moisture.
then yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And they beam it out via infrared.
Ah, okay.
And so it's like super low power.
Yeah.
Like I've had one running on the coin cell for like 5 years or something.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen the capacitive ones uh, for sale in various places, but I always assumed they had to be wired. You know, yeah, cool.
Well, because like infrared, it'll bounce around in a room, right?
Yeah,
So that's the idea. This super high powered LED, drive it at about 100 milliamps. Big capacitor to store up for the charge,
hmm,
and then just send out these little pulses, and then
nice.
a protocol to kind of like efficiently transmit bits. So I could transmit 4 bits per pulse by shifting the pulse in phase by a certain amount.
Whoa, okay, cool. Dang.
Um, and then we've seen the other ones. That was the internal project stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I
All
love tinkering and making stuff, and definitely love PixelBlaze and LEDs, but I also love other things too.
right. Awesome. No, that's super cool. That's quite a range of different things. Nice.
Yeah, there's the picture I used for the mapping.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that mapping was really easy and super handy. I think I'm just impressed with how user friendly you've made everything with the Pixel Blaze.
Thank you.
Um, like when you first started making the Pixel Blaze and developing it, were you like, was the goal from the start to make something that was that had a easier user interface and made it easier for people who didn't want to like get into mathy code to
Yeah.
make cool LED patterns, or was it more like a shortcut that you wanted for a particular reason and then it kind of like grew into more?
So a little bit of both. So PixelBlaze, the only reason it ever exists is that I wanted a way to live code LEDs.
Okay.
And that was what it started with. And of
Yeah.
course, once you do that and you have some cool stuff, you want to save it. You want to be
Yeah.
able to switch between them.
Yeah.
And so, really, once those two pieces were together, that was PixelBlaze V1.
Yeah.
You know, you could live code some stuff. It was different. It wasn't full code. It was just expressions. But you could do many things. You just couldn't do like for loops and functions and stuff like that. But you could write some math. And you don't even have to know math to do this stuff. You just kind of monkey around in there and you kind of figure stuff out. This looks good. That doesn't look good. The basics, just
Yeah.
addition and multiplication, will get you really far. And
Yeah.
you could just take all the trig functions and just see what they look like. And if it looks cool, use it. Who cares? Right?
Right. Yeah.
Like you don't have to know SOHCAHTOA stuff to like throw some data into the sin function and get cool waves out, right?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, so it really started out as I want a way to be able to live code stuff because I got tired of the whole, iterative, like, code some stuff, run through, compile, upload it to the chip to see it on the LEDs. I wanted to see if I could shortcut all that.
Nice.
But from the very get-go, it's always been very, very user-friendly. So it had the V3's Wi-Fi setup is slicker, but, the same kind of deal where you could just set it up, with AP mode stuff. And it's always been very self-contained, so you don't have to have extra apps or websites or IoT stuff to like mess around with.
Yeah, that is super nice that I did not have to download an app that it, did just fine on a tablet, and there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And then as a business, like the goal is to give people the easiest way to get started with LEDs, really.
Yeah.
To give them just really cool LED effects right off the gate where they can change it, they can customize it, they can download patterns that people have developed on the community. And if/when they get curious, they can go in there and start poking with it and modify it and change it and, even learn how to code and, sort of, do math, whatever, like just make cool stuff on LEDs, like whatever they want to do. And try to make that whole process easier.
Yeah. What are some of the coolest things that you've seen other people make with Pixel Blazes?
Oh my goodness. I am so glad you asked that because Jeff has been working on.
Add you back. Add the presentation back.
Jeff has been working on our website and making it so much better. And as part of that, he's curated the Made with PixelBlaze page.
Nice.
And on here are all of our favorites, the ones that we could find and get permission to. And not all of them are necessarily on there. There's definitely a list that we have going of stuff that we want to keep adding to here, but there's just full of some really cool stuff. So Glowflow by Roger Cheng, he also goes by Regulus on other platforms. You might recognize him, but he's done just a really knockout job on this video of how he like went through this thing. And he made this glowing bucket of liquid that you could interact with using the sensor board. He was like one of the first early V3 beta testers as well. Gave me just tons and tons of really great feedback.
Whoa, that's crazy.
It goes through like the whole like build process and how he put this thing together. And he's got a website with like all of his findings and stuff. It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
That is
down
cool.
here, we've got a couple of other projects. Like this glowy spike ball thing is really freaking cool.
Nice.
This unicorn head
Mm-hmm. Dang. Max. It's just Max. Mm-hmm.
This is the chandelier thing that you had highlighted. This is a thing I built. Uh, Amy did the some cool Lego stuff with PixelBlaze.
Whoa.
We've got cubes, we've got spheres, we've got bracelets, we've got
Bracelets.
pillows, we've got hyperboloids, we've got everything.
Nice.
Some persistence of
Ooh,
vision stuff.
nice. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Um, People like put it on their mopeds.
Nice.
Like we've got all kinds of stuff. So
Neon cat.
yeah, baby mesmerizers.
Baby
Like
mesmerizers.
really
Ah.
cool coffee tables. I mean, I want
Whoa.
that coffee table.
Yeah, me. Wow, me too. Holy.
Um, Goes great on houses.
Dang.
Yeah. Just, I mean, there's a million things
Wow.
that we want to put on here. Cool, like festival, like furniture stuff.
Nice.
Really, really cool, amazing, like laser cut backlit stuff too.
Yeah. Very
And
cool.
all different kinds of ranges. I mean, you can do big, small, all kinds of stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
it's great to see the range of things that people do.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you want to see and be inspired, check out our website, go to the Made with PixelBlaze page, hop on the forums, chat with people. Like we love welcoming new people and get them super excited about LEDs.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Glitch says PixelBlaze is the best. Anybody can build with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Glitch has got some really awesome stuff too. I'm gonna get some more of that on the Made with PixelBlaze page for sure. Some really
Nice.
cool videos too.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to let you and everybody who's watching go.
We've gone above and beyond the time for sure.
We
Thank you for letting me
have.
show so much fun stuff.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I love to see everything. And yeah, it's so much fun. It is so much fun. And yes, I am super happy. Thank you so much for helping me build my first project with PixelBlaze. I'm really stoked about this sign, and I'm like even more stoked about just how freaking easy it was. I think I'm probably never going to use an Arduino to to do RGB LEDs again because it's. I mean, I could, but
Right?
right? So yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you everybody for watching. We will have this. We will cut down some segments to focus on some highlights. This is going to be another hard one that Robin's just going to be like, I don't know, it was all good.
Sorry.
Oh, Cedar Grove. One more question. Cool Alpenglow sign. Thank you. Have you considered cutting a mask to increase the depth? So a duplicate of the cutout. So like, I'm not entirely sure what you're asking to like do kind of a infinity mirror type of thing, or we'll see if we can get a response quickly. There's like a little bit of a delay from the live, but I don't want to just another layer. Okay. Yeah, I kind of want it to still be somewhat flat so that if it's like against a wall or something, it doesn't like stick out too much. So I think I might just stick to the single layer of acrylic, but who knows? I might get bored with that and try something else and give it a facelift after a little bit. But cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ben. And we'll see you all next time.
Thank you for having me.
Goodbye. Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Bye.